If this is your first or second time here, hope you enjoyed the video. If this is your third time here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can stay up to date on when I post. Now, before I go getting into this, I want to know if anyone else has noticed the change to YouTube. Right, when I watch a video now, I only get like 3 recommended after, instead of like the 9 or 12 or however many used to be on the tail end of videos and whatnot. Along with that, I've noticed the entire, for lack of a better use of a word, HUD for YouTube has changed. When you're watching videos, it's not like stylized thumbs up and whatnot. It's weird. It's weird to me. We're going to continue these new style of videos with one recommended by a member of the community here. Just had to look it up there. Gatling suggested the, apt enough, Grenade Machinegun. A weapon that doesn't really get a lot of use or screen time outside of meeting the boomers. Now, the Grenade Machinegun is a heavy piece of pre-war support weaponry that was most likely developed in the mid-2060s. A single soldier with this weapon could carpet bomb an entire street with explosions. It's chambered in 25mm grenades and fed from a 30-round cased magazine. The Grenade Machinegun turns short-range combat into walking artillery. It's loud, heavy, and absurdly effective, and that was the point of this weapon. So here's some basic math for this weapon. Its ammo is 25mm grenades, mag size around 30. Base DPS is listed at around 150, raising significantly with mods. Mods as in modifications to the weapon, not modifications to the game. The high-speed kit alone boosts rate of fire by 50%. The reload for this weapon sits at roughly 4 seconds, give or take. 3 with rapid reload. The weight for this weapon is 15 units, whatever the weight units are in game. I never really understood that. Heavy but portable. Durability is nearly 2,000 rounds from full condition to completely broken. About 67 reloads. So it's built to run through ammo like no tomorrow. However, it's in a fairly sad, unique class of its own here where you can't use jury-rigging to fix the gun. So you gotta either find more grenade machine guns or go to Commander Knight, I think that's his name, at the outpost there by the statues, or you can do what I always do, dip into Lonesome Road. The requisition kiosks there all have repair skills of 100 anyway. And the first one's through like 2 load screens, so you don't really need to worry too much about running too far into the DLC. A unique quirk of the Grenade Machinegun is the on-weapon monitor isn't just for show. When the feed jams, the display distorts, and the courier, your character, can actually unjam the weapon by just punching the monitor. It's a neat little gag that reveals the gun's precision. Timed feed, synchronized firing system. You have no idea how many takes it took me to get that one right there right for some reason. You're not just heaving explosives at an enemy, you're running a mechanically timed device with a high throughput. Now, a lot of people like to compare this to the 25mm anti-personnel weapon from the Gunrunner's arsenal. The rifle-sized, magazine-fed 25mm grenade launcher from that DLC. And while that weapon is more accurate, it only has a 6-round magazine, and it is significantly slower. So if you want high DPS, you go with the Grenade Machinegun. Now this weapon tells a deeper story about the world. Most pre-war gear in Fallout clings to vacuum tube tech. Right, a lot of people say that's the divergence point between our world and the Fallout world. Fallout's world continued on with vacuum tubes and focused on different styles of technology from therein, and our world went with microprocessors and smaller computers and stuff like that. There's quite a few divergence points, not going to get into that right now, but a little known fact of the Fallout world is not too long before the bombs fell, within a decade or two, they did invent the microprocessor, and they did put it to use in some of their technology. For those of you that don't know what a vacuum tube is, you can think of it kind of like a light bulb in the most rudimentary sense. It's a container of glass with the air vacuumed out of it so that the intricate systems inside can run in a vacuum, as the name would entail. And now I just had to look this up. Both based on the same principle. Vacuum tubes took it a step further because vacuum tubes were designed to control the flow of electrons to perform electronic functions like amplification or reflection. I have no idea how to pronounce some of these words. But what I'm getting at is a vacuum tube is a very delicate piece of equipment. Not something you want in a mounted weapon that's recoil alone could destroy a vacuum tube. So it's no accident that we see the monitor on the side of the Grenade Machinegun as a somewhat compact, for Fallout's world anyway, computer system that is durable enough for us to just hit without any issues to it. Now, it's not an accident or an oversight that this weapon has this monitor on it. It's one of the central parts of it, after all. I'd say around the same time the fusion cores were made, microprocessors were also made. Early to mid 2060s. So a decade or so, maybe decade and a half, before the bombs fell. The microprocessor systems housed in the computer feed time system for this weapon allowed it to properly work at a high rate of fire. Okay? Now just allow me to paint a picture for you. No weapon in Fallout that I have ever come across has had an underslung attachment for it. In our world, we have underslung shotguns, underslung grenade launchers, bayonets, you name it, we have it. There's even some madmen out there that have tried to fasten a chainsaw onto their rifle. People have been made fun of for thinking that was real too. But in the Fallout world, the closest thing we get is to stick a sharpened piece of metal onto a gun. And that only came in Fallout 4 and 76. So, personal, singular grenade launchers were quite popular. Now, the United States military used grenade launchers quite a bit in Vietnam. Just needed to look that up right there. During World War II, we used rifle grenades, as it is put, and bazookas for delivering explosives downrange. In the 1960s, we started using portable grenade launchers. Man-sized ones, small, portable. Give a couple to a squad, they got their rifles as their primary, they got grenade launchers as a secondary. They can saturate an area with explosives and act as rudimentary mortar systems for short-range mortar attacks, if need be. Well, it seems like in the Fallout universe, they stuck with this style instead of adopting an underslung to their weapons. After all, they were focusing more on nuclear power and energy-style weaponry. And while sure, some of those probably didn't come around until the mid-2050s or whatnot, it still goes to show that the grenade machine gun is a deviation of a branch that our world never took. We went more portable, more easy to carry. We have grenade launching pistols nowadays. We have multi-shot ones, if that's your thing. We have underslungs that can be put on every rifle that every infantryman has. The Fallout world didn't do that. They instead saw carrying a grenade launcher as in, you are now a grenadier. That is what you're doing. That is your job now. And while that's still a thing nowadays, they went more along the lines of, okay, well, you're going to be using grenade launchers and grenades and other explosives. And by the 2050s, the Power Armor Project, that was started even before the power source of fusion cores, that's what they're called, was even made. Fusion cores were made, they tailored them to be used in the power armor system, and at that point in time, a grenade machine gun seems like a pretty good idea. After all, You already have a shoulder-mounted nuclear catapult. Why not a grenade machine gun as well? Although, these weapons make more sense if you think of it as if they were supposed to be mounted on top of vehicles, right? A nuclear catapult most likely to be used, well, to be bigger for one, and to be used at a longer range, along with a grenade machine gun to be mounted on top of an armored personnel carrier or some other type of vehicle that was to be used in a theater of combat. But now, since we have power armor, we could turn any soldier into a walking tank that can take shots while carpet bombing an entire area. Just imagine it, right? Power armor is meant to jump and drop from extreme heights. Sounds like a paratrooper to me, right? So you get a squad. Hell, you get 10 men, all in power armor. 5 of them have grenade machine guns. The other 5 have heavy, fully automatic weapons, some kind. Be it normal machine guns, miniguns, Gatling lasers, whatever. You drop them all into an enemy base. Especially before the enemy knew power armor was a thing, you could decimate everything in there within a number of minutes. Now these things, the grenade machine guns, wouldn't only be used for explosives delivery, right? It's a grenade launcher. So any other type of munitions that is used in a grenade launcher can be used. Training rounds that are chalk, bog standard. You can even buy those nowadays if you want. You can go with smoke grenades, pulse grenades, rubber ball grenades, cluster grenades, hornet nest rounds, which are, if you didn't know about this, grenade launchers in the United States aren't technically illegal. The larger diameter ones are, but smaller diameter ones aren't because you can shoot flares out of them. So you can just buy them. You can get something known as a hornet's nest, which is they're usually made of brass. They're about the size of the size of the shell needed for whatever launcher you're buying it for. It unscrews and you put 22 caliber rounds in it. Fill them up, like 20 of them. Screw it on there, load it in, pull the trigger, and it sets all of them off at the same fucking time. A literal hornet's nest of 22s flying downrange like a giant shotgun. Now that would be a sight to see. One of the final things that could be used in a grenade machine gun like this is, in the Fallout world, nuclear weapons are part and parcel. You can just find mini nukes laying around. There are also nuclear mines that you can make, and even some nuclear hand grenades. I don't see why they wouldn't be able to make a 25mm nuclear grenade. Imagine that. Not just the overall explosion, but then the radiation and fallout that comes after. Now imagine having 4 of these mounted on an old-style plane. I'm going to talk about the planes of Fallout one of these days as well. Mounted on the wings of a plane. The feed computer timed to set the explosives to multi-stage. As in, the round hits, impacts, blows a hole through, and then sends the actual payload through the hole. And then you just saturate an area with it. Or to be able to switch shell types on the fly. Fallout's got some strange technology out there. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to set all of their grenades to time delay. Saturate an area with them, and then they all start going off 30, 40 seconds later. Because that's the beautiful thing about the grenade machine gun. It's not just a weapon, it's a weapon platform, right? Imagine you're living in occupied Canada at this point. If you didn't know, the United States annexed Canada in the Fallout universe, and it's one of the Commonwealths, the 14th, give or take. Imagine there are dissenters in the streets. You don't want to kill them. It would set a bad precedent, make other people pissed off. So you just take one of these bad boys, load it up with some sonic grenades, saturate the area with it, and then they all just go home, right? Their ears will probably be bleeding, but they're alive, and that's all that matters, right? So It can be used for crowd control in every sense of the word, really. Now, if you want to know where you can find these weapons, relatively high tier, but there's some places that always have them, like the boomers. You can also get them from Mick and Ralph, if you pass the speech check there. Knight Torres in Hidden Valley. Blake sometimes carries it at the Crimson Caravan. Brandon at the Hoover Dam. Sometimes merchants at the 188 have them. Sometimes. And sometimes Joshua Graham has it in Honest Hearts. But what you should be after is the unique version of the Grenade Machinegun. Every weapon in Fallout New Vegas has a unique variant, which is a reskin, recolor, modified version of the baseline weapon. In this case, this weapon is called Mercy. Mercy is a higher damage output, lower magazine size, because it's not a 25mm grenade machine gun. It's a 40mm grenade machine gun. It's the same platform. As I said before, this is a weapons platform. Same platform, just different chambering, right? To get this, you're going to need to go to Deadwind Caravan. Brotherhood of Steel Paladin had it. He died to some death claws, so keep that in mind. Deadwind Cavern, not Caravan. Anyway, uses 40mm grenades. A lot less common, costs a lot more. It only has 18 rounds in it instead of the, normal amount that we have in the 25mm grenade launcher. Now, some think this weapon was modified post-war to fire different ammunition. They're wrong. This is a completely pre-war weapon, mostly because when you find it, it has some markings spray painted on it, a lot like the survivalist's helmet that says "Forgive me, Mama," or this machine, stuff like that. It says, I'm gonna fucking butcher this one. Hi, guy, bye. I can't speak Chinese, so it's what it says. It says HEIGUIBYEBYE, right? And for those of you that don't know, the Chinese stealth armor that we find is actually referred to by that name. The Dragoon armor, as it were, is referred to by that name. So this was most likely used, Mercy, the weapon, was most likely used in Operation Anchorage. So that's just a quick fun fact for you there. Now, the Grenade Machinegun is an artifact of a very specific design philosophy. Systemized destruction. It's not elegant, it's not subtle. It's a brute force answer to battlefield entropy, enabled by computational timing and compact power sources. In-game, it's satisfying and dangerous in equal measures. In-world, though, in-universe, it's a piece of hardware that would make any small town tremble at seeing it. And if you want to play with one, pick your fights and don't stand too close. And if you find Mercy, savor it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video. I'd like to thank Eric Hewitt and Big O for sticking around. Thanks, guys. Means a lot. And if you want to become a member, the link's down in the description below. $2 a month gets you unique videos. Getting back into the swing of uploading to it. I'm probably going to record one for after this. Probably going to be a weapon video, actually. I want to talk about, the first gun you get in-game, which is pretty much, well, the 9mm pistol, really. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm head out.